right, Lindsay, what's in your lens today?
Lots to discuss. So here's the thing about Donald Trump. For all the control he tries to project, his biggest enemy might just be his own thumbs. This week, the Wall Street Journal dropped a bombshell that one of Trump's Truth Social posts, meant to be private, may have just blown a hole in his whole Justice Department's case against former FBI Director James Comey. Now let's rewind. In his second term, Trump has done something he could only dream of before. He's taken full command of the Justice Department. The same guy who once ranted about being blocked or betrayed by the, quote, deep state, now has his loyalists in charge, and he's using them to go after old enemies like Comey, Adam Schiff, and New York Attorney General Letitia James, who, by the way, just yesterday was charged in mortgage fraud case after pressure campaign by Trump. But the Wall Street Journal on September 20th says Trump made a mistake. According to U.S. officials, he meant to send a private message to Attorney General Pam Bondi urging her to prosecute Comey. The message read, quote, "We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility." The problem, you all remember, he accidentally posted it, but publicly. Trump believed he had sent the message directly to Bondi, the Journal reports, and, quote, was surprised to learn it was public. Bondi, apparently mortified, called the White House, and Trump scrambled to post a follow-up praising her for doing a, quote, great job. That one little oops post could now become an exhibit in Comey's defense. Because here's the legal reality. That message makes it look like the president was directly pressuring the Attorney General to prosecute his political enemies. And that's a huge no-no. The Justice Department is supposed to operate independently, not as a presidential hit squad. As former federal prosecutor Preet Bharara told MSNBC's Jen Psaki, this could pose a, quote, big problem legally and substantively for Trump and the DOJ, giving Comey and others, quote, viable motions to dismiss the indictments. Comey's lawyers are already expected to argue that this indictment was politically motivated, what's known as, quote, vindictive prosecution. And as CNN's Aaron Blake put it, it's not inconceivable that an errant DM from Trump could be a big reason why Comey's case is dismissed. So think about that. One slip of the finger could undo years of legal and political maneuvering. But this isn't just about Comey, it's about power and what happens when a president decides the Justice Department is his personal law firm. Trump has built a career on rewriting the rules, but this time his writing on social media may prove what many of us already knew, that he's obsessed with political retribution more than actually running the country. And in the end, that single post doesn't just expose his motives, it exposes his priorities. Because while the government is shut down, like Robbie and I have been talking about all weekend, the nation's waiting for leadership, the only thing Trump seems eager to do is reopen a case against his enemies.
Well, I feel mostly similar as I do with the Letitia James situation, which is that if there's a legitimate basis to prosecute James Comey, it should not simply be not done because it's political, because it's retribution. I mean, I'm not going to deny
Talk about
it's
the DM. He should not be messaging Pam Bondi to move forward with prosecuting people and being adamant. The Justice Department is supposed to be independent of the president and operate because there's actually smoke and fire and they think there's a crime committed and move forward with looking into that. Not because the president says, oh, do this. And you have to remember there were people in place, including Eric Siebert, who literally resigned because he said this is not a good thing to prosecute. Let's not move forward. So Trump hired his personal former lawyer, his private lawyer, Lindsey Halligan, who people want off the case now, who he handpicked just because she said probably in private that she would prosecute Comey, who's now moving forward with this case with very little experience. And people can see that this is very obviously politically motivated. And if the Wall Street Journal is reporting that those messages were actually indeed meant to be private, this whole thing will be a waste of time and money. Not only did you handpick somebody who you knew would do your dirty work, but you're also weaponizing the Department of Justice to move forward with something that people who don't want to get disbarred said they're not going to move forward with, except for your friend that's your lawyer.
It is political retribution. I think there's no way around that. It is. James Comey knows a thing or two about being prosecuted for this thing.
Are you going to bring up Martha Stewart again?
Yeah, like I said the other day, he has prosecuted people for these exact same kinds of procedural.
What's his vendetta with Martha Stewart?
Under oath. He didn't have it. I don't know that he had a vendetta. I don't know what it was. He has prosecuted people. The Justice Department always prosecutes people for exactly these kinds of things. This is not out of the ordinary at all. And we're only complaining about it because he's like he was a resistance hero at one point, although I know the Hillary Clinton people hate him or whatever. It's, he has such an ego about himself. He's one of the more obnoxious figures in political life. Look, this is more insignificant, I think, than maybe the Letitia James one, but other people have been prosecuted for this exact same kind of thing. I don't think looking at it is necessarily wrong, and there's a delicious irony in it because he would do this exact same kind of thing if a political enemy of his was in the crosshairs. So we can't have a selective standing down. You talked, and we were just talking about, right? Of course I think it's unhealthy that Democrats come in and do all this lawfare to Republicans, and then Republicans come in and do all this lawfare to Democrats, and that will be a race to the bottom in the future that will be very unhealthy for our country, for our democracy, for our society. But Trump's obviously not going to be the one to back down on this first. I mean, that's just he's not. He ran on doing exactly this kind of thing and was elected. He
also ran on being a victim of a weaponized Department of Justice,
right.
And so.
But you
I can't
deny
imagine,
that he was.
I can't imagine. No, I actually have said on record that I think that they should not have continued to move forward with these cases. I thought it was silly to continue to try to impeach this man. I thought it was a waste of time.
Well, you're
and
a rare
resources.
moderate liberal.
I'll be rare.
Credit to you.
I will be rare in that I thought that it was foolish to continue to prosecute him in that way, and there were many other things that people in America wanted, which is why Democrats really lost the election, because people were more concerned with their wallets and how to pay their bills than whether or not President Trump should try to be impeached for the 10th time. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a clear distinction between me and anybody who thought that was a smart idea. I don't think that we should continue down this path. I think that anybody who campaigned on saying that they were weaponized by the Justice Department should not then go and do the same exact thing. And I don't think that Trump needs to be this moral, highly raised figure to just say, this is not how I want to run. The entire movement of MAGA was supposed to be breaking against what was traditional norms of politics, this back and forth, deciding how to move forward and actually get things done, get the government up and working again, right? We had this former businessman that's coming into a new position to change things. And here we are, 9 months into a presidency, and we're talking about political retribution and weaponizing the justice system. I mean, I don't understand how much more of a complete 180 you can possibly do from somebody who we knew was petty. But in this regard, this is like ridiculous to keep going down this path. And I really would hope the Democrats don't continue to follow up with this. I also would not like to see, like we just talked about, we don't have to relitigate it. I don't want to see Letitia James in jail. If James Comey actually committed a crime, then fine. But if this is just to go back and forth because James Comey looked at your connection to possibly communicating improperly with Russia, then, I mean, how long are we going to do this? He also did the same thing to Hillary Clinton 2 weeks before the election, which people say is the reason why she lost the election. So he doesn't have a favorite.
While we were talking about Letitia James, I don't actually want to see anyone in jail unless they're like a violent criminal. I think the purpose of prison is to keep the population safe from violent people. Thank you. But there are, I mean, people are prosecuted for white collar crime or financial crime or you don't think that should Bernie Madoff not go to jail? Should I don't. I mean,
Letitia
that gets
James
into a broader.
Rented out a home she bought. Bernie Madoff made people ruin livelihoods by ruining tons of people's lives, right? Like she affected only herself.
Okay, but that's not my point. My point is, do you think people should not be in jail for financial or procedural crimes ever?
No, I don't think I don't like to blanket statement anything, but I certainly don't think my bigger point is that we should continue presidencies and administrations where we're prosecuting people who we didn't like 4 years ago. Wait the 4 years and don't come up with a game plan.
Maybe she can wear an ankle monitor. Maybe both of them can, just so we know where they are. Next up, Israel's agreed to a ceasefire that the president says he hopes is the first step toward a lasting peace in Gaza. We'll hear from him next. Stay with us.